to go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather round. An adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel. And welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education, and every Saturday we are here with you to share with you anything that is towards the development, empowerment, growth of our students, of our young people. And this Saturday is no different. For those persons who are not on Nevis, it is a beautiful day on Nevis here this morning, but on Youth on the Go, even if it's not a beautiful day, we bring you not just the sunshine, we bring the entire sun. So we're bringing everything to you this morning, and we have some special guests who will be sharing in a bit with us as well. I know that we are drawing closer to back to school, and that there are many questions. Our parents have questions, students have questions, and so we're going to also try to start framing your minds. We know that going back to school physically will not be the same as it was in March when we closed the schools physically, and so there are many new things that we have to wrap our minds around. Nobody yet has gotten it perfect, but we're trying to make sure that we protect the children and we protect the teachers and all of the staff members who will come into contact with the children throughout the course of when we open in September. I know the students are excited. They've been at home for a long time, and they can't wait to see their friends, they can't wait to see their teachers, and we also know that it is important that they understand protocols. And so parents, right at the top of the show, I'm asking you to start practicing. You know how some of you towards the beginning of school you have them to ask them to start reading their textbooks to prepare, or start doing certain research, or have them read for leisure to get their minds reframed and ready and focused. We're also asking you, as part of the preparation for Back to School 2020, that you have the students start practicing the protocols. So if wearing the mask is part of the protocol, we're asking that you have the students wear the mask so that they can get used to the concept of not taking it off and putting it down on their desks and sharing it with their friends. And oh, your mask is cool. We know children usually would share snacks and lunch and all that, and so sharing masks might join into that sharing process, but it's important that they keep it to themselves so that we don't have any cross-contamination. So talk to your children about not wearing their friends' masks, even though they look nice and there's something different about it, or they want to try it to see if it could fit the same way. I don't know. Children think about different things, and so those are important elements as well. If you can also make sure that you start, if you have small bottles of hand sanitizer just for their own personal protection. It's not like it's mandatory, but for their own personal protection, if you can have a small bottle of hand sanitizer that they can slip into their backpack, they can use from time to time during the day in terms of sanitization. Talk to them about the importance of washing their hands with soap and water. You can go on the Nevis Health Promotion Unit, Nevis HPU Facebook page. There are videos there in terms of how to wash your hands properly, and have them practice it at home under your supervision. I know that we are going to do our best. Teachers are going to do their best, but we can't do it alone, and so we need you to start preparing and also to support the process. And so parents, we want to thank you for all that you've done, and we know it's been, as I said, a challenging few months for you, and you are eagerly awaiting the start of school. During the course of this week, we will have a series of PTA meetings as well, and towards the end of the show, I'll share the dates and the times so that you will know when your school is having a PTA meeting. It's important as part of the process that the parents have the opportunity to interact with the school leadership, to find out what the protocols are for that specific school, to find out the expectations, and of course to share their concerns or recommendations. All of us are doing this together, as I said, so we might have missed one or two things, and with your support and help, we'll be able to do well with it. So parents, I'm telling you, in preparation, we have a countdown now, preparation for back to school. We're asking for you to start setting the tone at home. So your children can't put their things down anywhere and leave them, and we have to be very conscientious, very alert. You can't leave. The schools have been known to be littered with water bottles, not the disposable ones, the actual personal expensive water bottles that the parents buy. The children leave them around. You have to be very conscious of taking care of what is yours, and so these are the conversations, as I said, that we would have to have with our children, so that when they go back to school, it's a bit easier for the teachers who will not be managing just your child but a classroom of children, and so we are going to, as I said, do our best, but we're asking for your support. This morning, we also have two very special guests, and we will introduce our guests and start the conversation ahead of the break. And so I would like to give both of our guests the opportunity to introduce themselves and to tell us a bit about the organization with which you are affiliated.
Well, good morning, Zanella. Terry Andrews here, and thank you so much for having us on your program this morning. Both Carolyn Wood and I are here to speak with regards to our Swim to Win program, our sailing programs, and the newly formed Nevis Aquatic and Sailing Program. And Center, sorry.
All right. So, Swim to Win and the sailing program, I don't think we're strangers to those programs. And I'm hoping that parents will have a listen in and have a keen ear towards the discussion this morning. Because the truth is that, as I said, children have been indoors at their homes without much social interaction for a long time, and this can have a psychological impact on them. And so I applaud the initiatives which we're going to talk about this morning, and I'm encouraging parents to follow up, and if they so desire, register, and if they have more questions, to follow up, because children need safe activities to be part of, especially seeing that everything else at school will be more controlled. The transition for them might be difficult, and they need outlets. And I think both of the activities that we're going to talk about will provide such outlets for them. Sometimes we forget the other elements of the being. The physical, their children's need to move. The emotional, how they're feeling, coming out of a lockdown period from March or April to maybe May, June. That was hard on adults. Adults complained, and I cannot even begin to imagine what it was like for children. They did not get to move around as much. They didn't get to play freely and that kind of thing. And so we are, as I said, encouraging you to call up anyone who might not be listening but might have children who can participate in activities. And I know as we go through, we'll talk about the protocols which will keep the children safe, but it is something that I think you should call everyone up. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll go into great detail about what the activities have to offer.
Sugar City St. Kitts, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's youth on the go. Youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, girls, let's gather round. An adventure is always waiting. This storytelling is for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Youth on the go. Whoa. Let's start the show. Whoa. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. Just before the break, we were having a conversation, and we were leading up to a very important discussion in relation to physical activity and a non-traditional sport, I would call it, and a way to keep children safe. And we have some guests here, Terry Andrews and Carolyn Wood, and they're going to tell us a bit about the programs which they represent. And so we know that, and I'm going to start with you, Terry, if we can talk a bit about the Nevis Aquatics and Sailing Center, which you represent. Tell us a bit about, the mandates and goals and objectives, and how did you get your start? Tell us a bit about the history of the center, and then, of course, we can segue into the program.
Okay, well, again, good morning, Zanella. I would think first to start that as to how the center came into being. Carolyn probably can speak a little bit better to that, but when we began really with Swim to Win, and the need for swimming here in the Federation. And so with our program, and I'll talk more to that, but when we launched our first month of Sundays in February, there was such an amazing response, and obviously the great need of that the Nevis Yacht Club, which has existed here on the island for quite some time, saw this as such a regeneration. And so because of this and the lockdown with COVID and time that Carol and I have spent talking about this, it became more of a collaboration, and so the Yacht Club has transformed itself into the Nevis Aquatic and Sailing Center, which is much more inclusive to all sorts of different programs, and really Carolyn can probably speak best to that.
Yes, we're very conscious that there's a crossover between swim and sail. And we were also conscious right from the beginning that there are a lot of children, young people on Nevis who don't know how to swim. And therefore we can't teach them how to sail. So Terry and I discussed setting up the Swim to Win program. It was operating on Sundays at the then Yacht Club, and at the same time there was a sail group going on, and it became a very organic decision to decide to do a collaboration and bring together what is now swim, sail, marine biology and aquatics. And we've just run an incredibly successful summer camp at the centre, 13 days with 30 children, which came to an end last Friday. Bringing all those disciplines together.
Oh, wow. And you've piqued my interest. And I know of a few colleagues whose children attended the summer camp. And tell me, just in a brief summary of what the camp looked like. You said you brought all the pieces together. So what was the duration? How long was it each day? And what are some of the elements or activities that happened?
Okay, so it took place over 13 days. 9 to 3 each day.
Oh, wow.
We had skilled instructors. We had Valerie Gregoire, who did the aquatics marine biology program. We had Nick Dupre, who did the sail program, supported by Jubal Sargent and other instructors. The sail program was not just for experienced sailors, but for complete beginners. And they learnt how to rig a boat, prepare a boat for sail, look after a boat. We then had rules of racing. We actually had races. We have 3 categories of boat: Optimus for beginners and the younger groups, the Starfish and the Fevers for older children, and then we were using the Hobies to take complete beginners, very young children, out on the water to watch the others at sea.
Oh, nice.
The marine biology was incredibly important. There were classes in fish identification, waste degeneration, ocean cleanup, and they were followed by workshops like a snorkeling trip on a catamaran, Leeward Island Charters, which was sponsored by Yachtsman's Grill, Golden Rock, Islander, and fourth one.
It's going to come back.
It'll come back.
Where the children all went out snorkeling and were able to make use of the fish identification course.
It's
Wow.
Eden Life Center.
Eden Life Centre.
So in reality then, it wasn't just a theoretical course where they were learning, they were able to go out and apply. And so it shows, for those who are listening, it shows us that the programming and the thinking behind the center and the work of the center is not just theoretical. And of course, if you're doing swimming related and aquatic related activities, it helps when the children can actually make that connection. And so we're going to focus in though on Swim to Win. We know that we had the first grouping in February, and there was a big launch. There were activities, training of trainers, and we had lots of things happening there. So tell us a bit about Swim to Win, and then of course the new session that's about to start.
Sure. So thank you. First of all, I think we have to talk about why and why Swim to Win came about. And I think although there have been other programs here in the Federation regarding swimming, we don't have any swimmers. We have very few swimmers and people who can swim well. And I think part of it is based upon the Christina disaster. And, you know, we just recently had the memorial of the 15th anniversary of the sinking. So my partner, Winston Crook, with the St. Kitts and Nevis Swimming Federation, has been working a long time to try to unwind, as he calls it, the Gordian knot, because it comes down through the parents to the children, and they may get in the water, some do, but they don't swim. And other islands, we're surrounded by other islands who have swimmers, who go to the Olympics, you know, that are confident and comfortable in the water. So Carolyn and I got together, and we just recognized, you know, this little group over here, let's bring them all together. Let's see what we can do to form a collaborative effort. So we partnered with Jameer at Department of Sports and Department of Youth. You know, we partnered with Carolyn and her husband, which is Sail to a Brighter Future, the Four Seasons Foundation, Red Cross, all these different entities, and we just pulled them together and said, how can we make this happen? So first of all, although the long-term focus is to have swimming as part of the curriculum in the school, you know, the one way to get past this fear of the ocean is to start them young.
Yes.
And then get everybody in the water so that they have competency. It's the only sport that can save your life. And so whether you have desires to become a great swimmer or you just want to be a recreational swimmer, being comfortable in the water opens everything to you, whether it's sailing, whether it's lifeguarding, you know, all sorts of job opportunities. But first we need instructors. So the idea was, so of Swim to Win is really two-part. The first is to develop grassroots, develop local instructors who teach in a consistent method. So we needed to come up with a program. How do we train these instructors? So that began, we reached out to our facilitator, whose name is Ann McClendon. I know her through Special Olympics. And she's an amazing athlete in her own right, has her own company for teaching swimming. And so she loves Nevis, has been down to do the cross channel over the years. And so she agreed to do this voluntarily and develop a develop a program for us to teach our instructors. So she came down in January and ran a very intensive week-long course for 16 instructors that we put through to learn how to teach, how to properly teach, so we're all using the same language, so that basically a swimmer can progress through their levels. So we have 3 levels of instruction for the instructors. They go through level 1, level 2, level 3. Once they reach the level 2, they become compensated for their instruction. After that, if they wish to continue through FINA, which is the international governing body of swimming, they can go on and get those certification, which allows them to become officials and to travel and to do all sorts of other things. We're also going to provide, we had pre-COVID, an international group of lifeguarding instructors who are coming down to provide proper international certified both CPR, first aid and lifeguarding for our instructors. So that's our first base, is to develop our instructors. Secondly, then, is to teach our not just children. I know your show is really about children, but for anyone, because if we can't get the moms and the grandmas and the grandpas in the water, then we won't get the children. So Ann had come down in January. We ran the program for the instructors. We launched in February, and we had, Carolyn, almost 60 swimmers. That came out and it was amazing. I mean, it was beautiful to see. And we had plenty of adults as well, who that we call them our master swimmers, and day one wouldn't get in the sea. And by the last Sunday, they're floating and laughing and having so much fun. So we take the swimmers, divide them based upon age and competency levels. Safety is our main priority, so they're in with an instructor and an in-water volunteer. We could not run our program, I know Carolyn will speak to this, that without our volunteers. We have land volunteers as well. Everything's all very organized, and we were off to a great start, and then COVID came.
That's pretty much the story for all of us. We had great intentions, but I think that it doesn't mean that those intentions have to be they've been thwarted a bit, but they won't have to be abandoned altogether.
Well, and the good thing that's come of it is because there are silver linings, I think, to COVID, is it gave Carolyn and myself time to really look at this and see how much need there was and how much excitement there was and desire. So that's when, the Yacht Club decided they were already one of our partners, but then decided to rethink and rebrand as this aquatic and sailing center so that we can encompass all sorts of programs for all sorts of ages, which led to this amazing summer camp. I don't know if you've been watching Curtis's show in the evening. It's incredible what was done this summer. And then we're very happy to be able that we've been approved by the COVID task force to relaunch Swim to Win. Which is why we're here today. So we're starting off in September, our month of Sundays, but now what we're planning on doing is to continue it, to have this really ongoing. So September, October, November.
Okay, so you won't just end it.
We're not going to end, and because, we want to keep that consistency going, and the children are just having so much fun. And we'll have the little ones come out, and some again have never been in the water, and they're deathly afraid. And by the end of camp, they're jumping and playing and putting their face in the water and starting to learn, proper technique. So our instructors are very excited to get back to this. They've been doing Zoom training online with Ann McClendon to get back up to speed. We are obviously now, because of COVID, just using our on-island. We lost some of our expats, but we have 9 instructors here locally. So we can talk further about the number of groups and safety protocols and all of that. But everyone is excited to get back and to partner and with sailing, swimming, kayaking, marine biology, all the wonderful things. We live on an island. And we need to embrace it. As I think Val says all the time, at some point or another, you're going to get on a ferry. You're going to be on a boat. And to not have that angst, not have that fear.
All right, so we are at the bottom of the hour. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll finish up with a bit about Swim to Win and the protocols, and of course, how parents can register.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the Powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, It's youth on the go. Youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channels, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am Zanella Claxton from the Department of Education. Every Saturday morning we are here with you. We have information, we have activities, our students' favorite, the quizzes, and of course we always ensure that we have information that will develop and help our children to grow and support our young people, our students. And of course our adults are never left out, and so in everything that we do, we know that the adults benefit as well. And so this morning we have with us some special guests, and we have Terry Andrews and we have Carolyn Wood, and both of them are sharing with us and a bit about from the Nevis Aquatics and Sailing Center and the full gamut of what the center offers and the different programming and sub-programmings within that. We started off with Swim to Win, and so parents might want to know about the protocols. I know they want to know the protocols that relate to regular school, so there's no doubt that everyone wants to keep their children safe. You would have gotten approval, as you said, from the COVID-19 task force, and so what are the protocols, the safety protocols that are in place to ensure that this program can be done in a way that is safe for all participants?
So the safety protocols in place, we're making the groups smaller. So we're going to have 6 groups of a maximum of 5 swimmers, and each group will have an instructor and an in-water volunteer. Those groups will be kept together for the entire length of the month of Sundays. They obviously, when they enter the yard at the center, there's hand sanitizer, masks are worn in the yard. They are assigned their own specific caps and goggles, which are sanitized after each time and returned the following Sunday to them. So the idea is to get in, swim, and go. So the swimmers are asked to arrive already dressed, ready to go. This is a change from what we did in February, which was more of a fun social time on the beach kind of a thing. So they will come in, they'll register, they'll check in, they'll immediately move to their group. They'll do their warm-up separately within their own group and do their training in their group and then leave. Again, focusing more just on the smaller groups and the training for that. So they will get a full, intense 1 hour plus period of training.
Okay, and within the groups themselves, how would they get to warm up and remain safe?
Well, and this is the thing, teaching swimming is pretty much anti-COVID protocol because especially with new swimmers, you need to be within arm's reach, and if you're trying to teach someone how to put their face in the water and blow bubbles, a lot of times you need to demonstrate or to physically be in contact with the swimmer. So Anne is very cognizant of that. Again, she's based up in the United States where, obviously there are a lot more restrictions because of the outbreaks and things. So she's been working with our instructors on these Zoom calls about how we can do this with, obviously you won't be face to face with the student when you're demonstrating things, you'll be off to the side. There has to be physical contact, especially with the newer swimmers, because water safety always comes first as well as COVID safety. But being outside, being in the sea, obviously mitigates, the problems with the COVID. We're not inside, we're not in a close,
Space.
proximity like this. So we are addressing those issues, but, obviously first and foremost is water safety and making sure that everybody feels comfortable. The groups will be spread out on the beach. We function and work outside of in front of the center. So the groups will be at least 12 feet apart. Out on the beach. Due to the Swimming Federation now, we have a new in-water pool that's there. We have some buoy lines, so we have more space to spread out.
Did you say in-water pool?
I did.
What does that mean?
I did.
I've never heard of an in-water pool. What does that
Well,
mean?
it's a floating pontoon, basically. It has a pontoon on each end, and it's a 25-meter two-lane in-water pool that floats out there. And this is thanks to Winston Crook and the Swimming Federation, and also to FINA, who began providing funds to developing nations to help a Learn to Swim program. So as swimmers progress and get past the point of blowing bubbles and floating, they need to learn a proper distance to be able to swim, looking towards developing a proper,
Yes.
competitive swimmer. So, and I think as the pool was getting made and during the camp,
Yeah.
the Winston was sweet enough and put out one of the platforms, and it was a huge hit with the
Yeah,
camp.
it was.
With the children able to go out. So we're definitely addressing all levels, everything, and as I said, it's from age 6 to 106. I mean, and it's at all skill levels. So this is not just a beginner swimming program. This is meant to take you as far as you wish to go. So if your child is a swimmer and you feel a competent swimmer, we can make them a better swimmer and work on technique and help them see it as a fun sport. Which then maybe leads into other sports as well, whether that's sailing or whatever. It's just a great way into so many other opportunities. So at whatever skill level, whatever age, from 6 on up, we'll take you.
All right, so last question before we go back over to Carolyn. Parents might want to know where the Nevis Aquatic and Sailing Center is, and also the cost and the procedure for signing up for Swim to Win. So before we go over to Carolyn, if you can fill in those two questions, I know that they want to
very
know.
quickly then. So the Nevis Aquatic and Sailing Center is out at Wally Beach. The cost for re-entry cost for the 4 Sundays is $75 EC for the entire month. We are going to run it September, October, November. The cutoff date for registration was Friday.
Ooh.
However, and that was with the Department of Sports where you can go to register. However, we still have a few spots. There's been such a good response that we're going to run 2 sessions of Thursdays of 30 swimmers. So there are still a few spots available. They can come out to the center tomorrow on Sunday to register in person, or Carolyn will explain how they can still go online and get registered. And again, running this September, October, November. So plenty of opportunity.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, over to you, Carolyn, because it's not just Swim to Win. There are
It's
other things
sail.
happening as well. So,
So our youth sail program will restart tomorrow, 30th of August. We are welcoming everybody between the ages of 6 and 18. It's very important that there is this cross-section of age, because we found, especially on the camp, that the older young people are very keen to help the younger people, and there's a real sense of camaraderie and support. So yes, if you're between 6 and 18, you can register. We're running the program for 5 Sundays, 3 hours from 2 to 5. We've tried to keep the costs down because we're very aware that incomes have been affected during COVID. So the cost is $150 EC for 15 hours of tuition. You can register online, or you can come and see what we're doing this Sunday if you'd like to register going forward. It's very easy to find us. We have flags out on the road, on the Island Road, and you just turn left when you see the flags and we're there. Danielle and I would be very happy to explain to anybody who comes down the programs. They can watch the children, what they're doing. To register online, our website is nevisaquaticandsailingcenter.com.
okay.
And the website has the detail of all the programs we're running at the present time. It has wonderful photos and videos of our activities to date. It's a really good tool for informing you about what we do.
All right, and what's the maximum capacity? How many persons?
At the moment, we're capping numbers at 20, partly due to COVID and for safety. We currently have approximately 15 signed up, so we have about 5 places left.
Okay, and suppose someone wants to do both the youth sale and Swim to Win. Because the youth sale is going from 2 to 5, would that even be possible? Is that something they can consider, or would they have to choose?
Not at the present time. We're looking into classes where we maybe run the sale on the Sunday and we have maybe swimming technique during the week, but that's very much in the initial stages of discussion.
Right. So and that's something that's wonderful to see how this has grown, and as the communities come out and the children are so excited. So we're looking at how the students aren't going to have to choose between swimming and sailing. You know, obviously they need to be able to swim in order to sail. So we want to make this, again, working together seamlessly. So we may look at adding in a Saturday swim class, or, as Carolyn was saying, for the better swimmers that want to work more on technique, maybe we do an after school and other opportunities. We just, as the demands are coming, we're seeing how we can, evolve and meet the needs.
Yeah. And our program also is going forward, the SAIL program, through to the end of November. So there is an opportunity to get involved and sign up going forward over the next 3 months.
All right, so I'm loving it. I think that we have a lot of information for us to mull over. Is there anything that you want the parents to know specifically, or any encouragement that you want to give to them? Talk about how these programs can help the children during this time of COVID, physically, mentally, emotionally, holistically.
Okay, Sailing offers many things. It offers the chance to improve your technical skills, your life skills, to become part of a team, to open your horizons in the future, because locally and regionally there are opportunities. If you get sailing experience and you can get the right qualifications and we can help with that, then there are job opportunities out there in marine management, in boat charter, in boat maintenance, and in, for example, water sports in resorts.
And Carolyn, is sailing a competitive sport, or is it not?
It is.
Okay, I was wondering. I know swimming is.
It is.
Okay.
It is. A group of our young sailors last year went to St. Martin and participated in a regatta for the first time. And we are actually hosting in 2021 a regatta at our centre, a regional regatta. We do introduce children and young people to the rules of sailing, so if they want to get involved competitively, they can going forward.
Okay, and you said regatta. We used to have sailing regattas when I was a little girl. We haven't had them for a long time, so I'm a bit excited about 2021 and the ability to be able to do that. So our youth sail participants, once they continue, should be able to compete in that regatta as well.
Yeah.
So we could have local children here who are now getting into sailing and opening their worlds literally and be able to compete, and I think that's impressive. Any closing words for you, Terry, in terms of the benefits of swimming, especially in this COVID time?
Yeah, swimming and sailing. I think the confidence. I think the confidence that we saw the changes in these children. So for any parent, these are great life skills. I mean, when they can go out on the water, whether they're swimming in the water, they're sailing on the water, like you say, the group, the camaraderie that we have with these programs. So many benefits. I mean, we started Swim to Win, which was really to conquer the fear, but for fun, fitness, and family time. We live on this amazing island, and we need to be able to enjoy that. So the things that come out of it are multifold.
Transformational, I would say.
Okay, wonderful. I love it. I think that is something that we should definitely, parents, that you should definitely sign your children up for. as I said at the beginning of the show, you do not know the impact that COVID-19 has had, and the children need something that is therapeutic. And if nothing else, being on the beach and smelling that fresh air and getting the sand on your feet, that is therapeutic. And the freedom, because I think the ocean offers the idea of, when you look at it, there are no limits. It doesn't end. And so it gives the children that freedom as well, which they need. And going back to the physical school space, the reality is that many things will still be very, very tight and controlled and restricted, at least during term 1. They're going to have to focus in, for example, ladies, on academic recovery. So it means that they're going to be focused on mathematics and language arts and reading, to make sure that they're recouping some of those skills that might have slipped, especially from March to now. They would have had interactions with their teachers, but once we closed in July, they haven't had for a bit. So those are the things that they'll be doing at school, the physical space. So parents, I'm encouraging you, of course it is always your choice, but I'm encouraging you to think about ways in which your children can then be able to have a bit more free play, freedom in a safe space. And I think swimming and yacht and sailing are both ways that they can do so effectively. And so I want to thank both of you ladies for your contribution, for your time, and for sharing with us this morning. And please know that tomorrow, if you want to register, go on over to the Nevis Aquatics and Sailing Center at Wally Beach and sign up. It's not too late, or you can go onto the website, Nevis Aquatics and Sailing Center.com, and you should be able to register there as well. Go over, see what's happening, take your children with you, and make sure that you wear your masks so that your children can once again start practicing and remain safe, and go and have conversations with the leaders there so that they can help you with and to have a better understanding of what's happening and help you to see the benefits in real time. So thank you ladies for your time and for all that you've done. We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. This storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go.
Let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook and YouTube channels, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. We had a very, 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 I think, informative discussion this morning, and vibrant discussion, and I hope that parents are able to get some important information that will help to continue with the holistic development of our students. And I think nice physical fitness, because swimming and sailing also bring about that ability to be able to be physically fit. We know that we would have shared most of the protocols and intentions and plans for the reopening of schools last week during On the Mark. We're going to also share with you next week. We're going to dedicate the entire show next week to protocols and answering any questions in between. But our schools have been working, our teachers have been working. Last week we started the sanitization of schools process, and so all schools are deep cleaned. Most schools are deep cleaned, and those that didn't get on for last week, we're going to be finishing them up early this week. We also have been training teachers, introducing them to COVID-19 protocols, and of course, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, we have been sharing information about COVID-19 and how to best protect ourselves from the virus. And so this information will be important for our teachers, our staff across the system as we go about interacting with our students. Next week we continue, and we will be training our staff, and then at the end of this training session, all staff members, instructional staff, ancillary staff, it doesn't matter, all staff, all persons who are expected to come into contact with children will go through that training. Also, we will have a series of meetings. The various schools will be having meetings to be able to share information with you specifically about your school. We know that each school will have some differences, and so although we can give a general picture of what will be happening, we may not be able to give or answer specific questions as it relates to specific schools. And so the school leaders have been reaching out to share the meeting times, and so I will share with you as well so that you are aware of the meeting times for the upcoming week. And so Charlestown Secondary School will have their parent information meetings, and due to the size of the school, their meetings will be they will have several meetings next week. You parents of the students who attend the Charlestown Secondary School are asked to note that there will be 3 scheduled Zoom meetings, and you are invited to attend at least one. You're only required to attend one meeting if you have multiple children at the school. So on Tuesday, September 1st, they will have the meeting for Form 1. Wednesday, September 2nd, Forms 2 and 3. Thursday, September 3rd, Forms 4 and 5. So parents of the Charlestown Secondary School, of students who attend the Charlestown Secondary School, please take note. The Combermere Preschool will have their meeting on the 31st of August at 4 o'clock at the school. It's a physical meeting. The Charlestown Primary School will have their meeting on September 1st at 5 o'clock. Their meeting will be a virtual meeting via Zoom. On Wednesday, 2nd September, the Ivor Walters Primary School will have a physical meeting at 4 o'clock. Nevis International Secondary School will have a meeting for Form 1 and new parents only, and it will be a welcome and orientation meeting on Wednesday, 2nd September at 4:30 p.m. Parents, you're asked, or you have the option of joining via Zoom, or you may also come in person at the school. The VNJ's preschool will have their meeting. We'll have their meeting on Tuesday, 1st September at 4:15 p.m. And so, as I said, all of these dates and times, I'm asking parents to take note. Charlestown Preschool will have their meeting on Thursday, and they will have 2 meetings. They will have a 3 o'clock to 4:45, and then they will have a 5:15, and that one should wrap up in about an hour or so. Unless parents have questions, we will be alert and ensure that we have all of the parent meetings, the parent questions answered to the best of our ability. We are also going to have the Elizabeth Pemberton Primary School. They will have their meeting on September 1st at 5 p.m. via Zoom. Gingerland Secondary School, September 2nd at 6 p.m. Joycelyn Liebert Primary School, they will have 2 meetings, grades 3 to 6 on Tuesday 1st at 4:15 p.m. and kindergarten to grade 2 on Wednesday 2nd, the school's cafeteria at 4:15 p.m. I think that parents are encouraging you to stay connected to your school's Facebook page as well as the Ministry of Education Nevis Facebook page to be able to get up-to-date information. We are trying our best to be able to provide you with up-to-date information and, of course, to answer your questions. We want you to be comfortable and confident that we are trying our best to keep your children safe. And so we want you to stay tuned so that you can get up-to-date information. There are some key bits of information that I also wanted to share with you across the system as we go into the new school year. We know that parents and the involvement of parents is always welcomed, but we have to ensure the safety of all students, and so we cannot allow anyone outside of the persons employed at the institution, working at the institution, to be in and out of the school setting. And so at all levels, parents will not be able to walk on to the school setting without an appointment, so that we can make sure we have the protocols in place for you. And what we're doing is ensuring that we're creating bubbles, almost school bubbles, and any addition to the bubble increases the risk for students. We have one of our school leaders so eloquently put it that this is a term-wide drill. And so for the whole term, even though persons might say, well, we don't have active cases, we have to make sure that we are protecting the children and that we have them understanding the importance of following the protocols, doing what you're supposed to do. And so as students enter, they will have their temperatures checked daily and go through the sanitization process and go straight to their classrooms, where they will have classroom assembly in place of the full school assembly, due to the fact that it is difficult to distance, especially in larger schools. And so we also will be making sure that we're trying to put procedures and protocols in place for break time. We are doing a staggered break at the primary school level so that all the children are not on the playground at the same time, and we can have a better sense of the supervision and the teachers being able to monitor. Same will obtain for lunchtime. We'll try to somewhat structure the lunchtime to be able to do something similar, where we can bubble as much as we can, and for the afternoon break, and break times will not be longer than 10 minutes. We will be having an early dismissal every week at 2 o'clock across the system. This allows teachers to be able to do professional development. In the past, we had to have several days off for professional development during the term. Teachers would have to leave the school to come to the Department of Education for training or whatever other training is scheduled. We can't do that now because that would leave the children unattended. So we've made the decision to have a once a week early dismissal, and so we're asking parents to be guided accordingly, as this is going to be very important information for you to have, so that you can make arrangements for your children. Parents, I want you to know that this is going to be very hard on everyone because it's new, and change always has its challenges and its difficulties. And so I want you to really appreciate the fact that the system is trying, and to also be supportive of our teachers. Our teachers will have additional responsibilities, and it will be increasingly difficult for them. And so if we can ensure that we are supporting them, that we're being patient and communicating, it will help the process to go very, 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 very well. And so we are encouraging you to reach out, to encourage your children to do all that you can to help us. We heard from Carolyn and Terry a few minutes ago, and the truth is we can't have every single measure in place. There will be areas that we'll have to come back and revisit and take care of, and that's our reality. So coming in, we are attempting to the best of our abilities. We've researched extensively. We're continuing to research to be able to serve your children well. So we want to wish you a wonderful week, and we'll come back next week with all of the protocols. Have a wonderful week.
VONHLSC.
With all the power from the tower, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.